Today's vlog, we are going to look at Dharma protector of Dharma, and how exactly does this work? How does Vishnu destroy the pride and gives dignity and yet remains humble? DARPAGNE means he burns away the pride in us. Yeah. So every single avatar that we have looked, even in our previous vlogs, looks like there is a demon and he has killed the demon. It is his duty to protect and uplift those who walk in the path of Dharma, and that is the belief system, yeah, of DARPADÀYA. So the one that is following the righteous path will possibly have the most of the challenges, but when you walk with integrity, you walk with the divine support, yeah, your confidence becomes unshakable because it becomes the truth. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Jai Shri Ram, Om Shri Matre Namaha. Welcome back to the Clay Studios oil painting vlog number 73 of Sri Vishnu Sahasranamavali. This is the painting that follows the principle of calligram or micrography, using which the 1000 names of Sri Vishnu are getting painted while the painting is coming up. I'm also trying to understand the deeper meanings lying under these names with the help of scriptures from Sanatana Dharma. Whatever I am learning as an amateur, I'm also sharing with you via these weekly vlogs. Each vlog typically covers 10 names and the meanings, and we then take a tangential perspective, drifting into the storylines of Sanatana Dharma to understand few of those names better. We have covered up to 710 names in our previous vlogs already. If you haven't checked them out, please do, because though I am covering 10 names in each of the vlogs, you will notice that the names are thoroughly interconnected, and I keep constantly referring back and forth to these vlogs that we have covered already. So it really helps you compare and contrast and find maybe nuggets of wisdom lying underneath that could be useful for your personal or professional life. With that, let's look at the plan for today. Today we look at 711th name and go on up to 720. And then in today's vlog, we are going to look at a familiar topic though, Dharma, but we are going to look at the Dharma protector of Dharma, and how exactly does this work? How does Vishnu destroy the pride and gives dignity and yet remains humble? So the how of the process is what we are going to understand today. Without much ado, let's get on to the names and the meanings first, starting with the 711th name, Om Sarva Sunilayaya Namaha, refers to the abode of all life, or he in whose form as the Jiva all the vital energy or prana of all living beings dissolves into. 712th name is Om Analaya Namaha, referring to the fire element, or another context is one whose wealth or power has no limits. We have talked about wealth a lot deeper in previous vlogs, so we will move on to the 713th name, Om DARPAGNE Namaha, refers to the slayer of the pride, yeah, or one who puts down the pride of persons who walk along the unrighteous path. So that's exactly what we are going to touch base on in a short while from now. 714 is Om DARPADÀYA Namaha, one who is the cause of pride, or one who endows those who walk the path of righteousness with a sense of self-respect regarding their way of life. Yeah. 715 is Om DARPADÀYA Namaha. In some of the scriptures it's written as Om DARPADÀYA Namaha. In some there is also a Patabeta or a difference. It's mentioned as ADṟPTAH. So let's look at the meaning itself and I think that is converging by itself. One who is never proud, yeah, or one who is ever satisfied by the enjoyment of his own interest. So you can think of it as dripta, as being satisfied with his own self, or adripta, maybe, who's never pride. Maybe we can take it in the context, but this is the Patabheda, Patantara that I am able to see in the different scriptures about this book. 716 is Om Durdharaya Namaha, refers to one who cannot be put up with. That's so literal, but let's look at the other context here. So one who is very difficult to be born or contained in the heart of meditation. I think it is also coming back to the thought process we talked about in Bhagavad Gita. Most frequently we discuss this Vishwarupa Darshana of Bhagavan to Arjuna, and he himself says that I'm unable to see this, I'm unable to bear this, so come back to your normal form, so that I can talk to you. So it's not that he's just overwhelmed, because it's beyond our perspective, a human perspective, to interpret, understand, look, see, understand, and interpret. So maybe that is the perspective here also, that Durdharaya is referring to. 717 is Om Aparajitaya Namaha. I think it is pointing about the never defeated, one who gets never defeated, or one who is never conquered by the internal enemies like attachment, and by external enemies like asuras. I think this is much more clearer here. So you never get conquered, one never gets conquered by the internal enemies and the external enemies as well. I think, yeah, we most of us have problems with both, or at least one of them. So this is one step above all of us. Yes. The 718th name is Om Vishwamurtaye Namaha. One who has the form of the universe is one context. The other is one who, being the soul of all, has the whole universe as his body itself. That's another context. Let's look at 719th name, Om Maha Murtaye Namaha. One who has the great form. Yes, that's one perspective. Maha. We have also dealt with Maha, isn't it, previously? Or one with an enormous form stretched on the bedstead constituted of the serpent Adishesha. So the enormous form, the physical form that we are identifying with, is also defined or described here as Mahamurtaye, or it could be the greatest form, the largest form beyond the measure of our understanding. 720 is Om Deeptamurtaye Namaha, refers to one who is the illumined form, or one with the luminous form of knowledge. So the illumination is not because bright blue lights or something. So it's coming from the knowledge, the wisdom. With that, we come to the end of these 10 names and the meanings. But now we are going to move into the Dharma protector, Vishnu, how he destroys the pride and gives dignity and remains so humble. That's what we are going to understand. But before that, Dharma concept has been discussed in great detail in 4 of my vlogs. So please do check them out if you really want to know more on Sanatana Dharma. Vlog number 8 covers a basic overview. Vlog 13 covers Dharma versus Adharma. What is the righteous versus what is, Adharma, and so on. Vlog 49, I cover this eternal principle of Dharma. And vlog 61, I think we have covered the concept of the bull of Dharma, the 4 legs, and what is so important as the aspects of Dharma. So all these are principles, what is good and bad. But how exactly does it work, and how is that really, acting in action? How does he do it? How does Lord ensure that Dharma is protected? that needs some answering, and that's exactly what these names in today's session have touched base on. So they are going to look at that. So the names from this Sri Vishnu Sahasranamavali, DARPAGNE, DARPADÀYA and ADºPTAH, is what we are going to explore more. So he is the one who destroys the arrogance, he empowers the righteous, and that's exactly what this is the functional, dharmic functions that he is establishing in this world. So destroying arrogance, empowering the righteous, and he himself also remains free of any form of ego. So let's unfold this, unpack this. First of all, the destroyer of ego in the unrighteous. Yeah, let's look at that. So DARPAGNE means he burns away the pride in us. Yeah, so every single avatar that we have looked, even in our previous vlogs, looks like there is a demon and he has killed the demon. The demon has been, troubling things, doing certain things non-conducive to nature and human behavior, and slaying. So the slaying is actually not referring to slaying of element, a physical killing, rather the pride itself. Because if you look at it, this pride keeps ebbing again and again in different forms. And the Lord also seems to be taking so many different avatars for it. The pride takes a very different dimension each time. And it could be called Ravana, it could be called Hiranyakashipu, it could be any demon, and it could be within us also. But it needs that the arrogance or this ego has to be completely removed, and that is this slaying. So it's not slaying or killing physically. We need to understand that the demonic driven by arrogance, ego and desire, they ruin themselves and also ruin the whole atmosphere altogether. And the whole objective of every single avatar you see is that he is the destroyer of the pride in the wicked. So what is getting corrected is the ego, and it is definitely not to punish but to purify. So he removes the arrogance that is blocking the growth, blocking our growth. So if we have to reflect it for today's world, it's our ego that is destroying all the relationships, the careers, and all the inner peace in us. So life has its own ways, failures, setbacks, humbling experiences. The act that, as Krishna's Darpagne, he removes ego not to shame us but to prepare us for something better. So this is what we need to understand from this learning of Darpagne, that this is the ego that's the ego that is challenging us. It's not necessarily the relationship that are challenging us. Maybe it's not the problems within the career, it could be the ego. So look at it from that perspective, and we will find maybe the inner peace. The moment that is destroyed, then there is the giver of dignity to the righteousness, DARPAGNE. And that is the next thing. So we have killed the demon within us. We have submised this negative aspects within us, and then we get a fruit out of that, and that is the one who gives the noble confidence, the self-respect and inner dignity to the righteousness, at least establishes that for us to proceed. So it is his duty to protect and uplift those who walk in the path of Dharma, and that is the belief system of DARPAGNE. He definitely does not want the righteous to be timid. He gives them that sense of fearlessness, abhaya, and the honor and the spiritual courage, so that we are ready today's world. What is that? How can we reflect it for today's world? If you look at the people walking in the honest path, it's not that easy. They will feel discouraged. There will be challenges. There is corruption. There are shortcuts. And that looks so easy to adapt to because everybody is doing it. You can always fall into that path. So the one that is following the righteous path will possibly have the most of the challenges. But when you walk with integrity, you walk with the divine support, yeah, your confidence becomes unshakable because it becomes the truth. It is coming from the truth, and there will be some kind of confidence that you will start building slowly, steadily. Yes, it will be very challenging, but you will see that fearlessness, the honor and the spiritual courage letting you lead the way. And yes, he will support, yeah, in this requirement. For that righteousness to survive, every righteous individual will have to survive through this dark times as well, isn't it? So the Lord who never becomes proud, because he has done this slaying of the inner enemy within us, and he has made us walk the right path, and he's done so much, so he has to show the pride. No, not necessarily. One who is never proud, although he is the source of all this glory. Why is that? Despite lifting the Govardhana hill, I think this was one of the story we have looked at already, so I'm not going to go into the details, but he has done that. He has defeated countless asuras. We have seen so much miracles that's been performed, but Krishna remains most approachable and loving and playful being. So it's still the child. You can still see the child that is being very naughty, playful and such. So that is also another strong message that I did my job, but I will not claim that as my achievement and show the pride there. I will move on to my next activity, which may be playing around. So that is the role of a karma yogi, I think. Total power or zero arrogance that you could see. If we can understand it from today's world and reflect it for today's world, we gain one achievement. It could be an award, a success, a promotion or something, and then our pride begins to do the whispering, talking. Yes, so it's really hard to hide that as well. Feeling happy about it is good. Taking the pride to the next level could be damaging. And Krishna teaches that the true greatness shines brightest through the humility. The strongest people are the humble, the wisest people listen, and the most powerful people do not flaunt the power necessarily. So that is the biggest message. Let's look at the biggest message in the cycle of Dharma. So these three names, okay? Destroy the harmful ego, empower the virtuous, and then stay humble. I think this is a very nice summary for us. And will that apply to today? Yes, in the world full of ego battles. It's really hard, but humility is so much important. In a world where the righteous feel discouraged, there is some hope. There is some kind of confidence coming somewhere. If you look around, it does. In a world where arrogance destroys the peace, Krishna tries to burn it away. Yes, so there is some hope. Even in the conflicts, even out of all these challenges that we are facing today, everybody is hoping for some kind of resolve, some kind of peace. The hope is still there. Yes, in a world full of confusion, he shows that true leadership is being humble, compassionate, and righteous. So it's not just mythology. This is a manual for living with integrity, clarity, and inner strength. So that's the name that we have touched upon today on the process that he is following to be humble, righteous, and fearless. And I hope you found this very useful and empowering. Please do share your thoughts in the comments. If you like it, please do like, share, and subscribe. And until we meet in the next session, stay blessed, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay motivated. Thank you. Bye-bye.